Yeah. Well,
I want to ask you, if it's permissible, how you financed your education.
I came here, my grandparents we were technically poor. I say we were poor. I ended up, the short answer to that is college loans. Up until I was pretty much a senior in college. And I have an older fraternity brother. And so this is where it comes back, where I learned from everybody. I was the corresponding secretary. And so that meant for the fraternity my first year. And so that means I went to the post office there on campus. I got the mail and I distributed mail to everybody. I had this brother who was in grad school, working on his master's. He got two master's degrees from here. And so he'd get this mail all the time. And so I'd find him. I said, "Here's your mail." And he'd look at me and say, "Just throw them away." I said, "What is it?" He said, "The bills." I said, "Don't you want them?" He said, "They knew I was a college student when they gave me that credit card. They should have never given it to me." And I thought, well, you do ultimately have to pay it. He said, "Yeah, somewhere down the line I'm going to have to pay the cost." He said, "But here's the deal. Let me give you a word of advice." He said, "How are you paying for your college?" I said, "College loans." He said, "Yeah, like a lot of us." He said, "If you at all, stop it." He said, "Because when you graduate, what people don't really, what does not register because they're teenagers, you've got to pay it back." So if there's a way for you to finance your college without getting loans, stop. And I heard him loud and clear. And I stopped.
You did?
Yep.
And how'd you do it?
I just worked. I robbed from Peter to pay Paul. And so from that point on, I did get loans. Yeah. Scholarships were probably available, but I didn't inquire.
Yeah.
And I got the loans. I'm one of those fortunate ones. When I got it, I paid it back. Got it done. But that's how I financed coming to school. Yeah. And the other piece about I thought we were poor growing up, and because by that time my grandparents were retired. They received Social Security. I received Social Security because, from my mother, and that was pretty much the source of our income. I came to college thinking, man, I'm not destitute because I don't know what that means. I never went to bed hungry. Our phone was never cut off. Our utilities were always in place. I had a normal upbringing, and that's why I admired my grandparents, because as I got older, I recognized they're much smarter than I think. Yeah, and then my grandfather liked it, and I wouldn't watch it.
Little political stand as a kid.
I just didn't like it because it was not the norm to me. I didn't know anybody like them.
It was insulting.
It was insulting to me. Yeah. It took me the longest, even as an adult, to watch, moving up to the east side, what's his name? George Jefferson, the Jeffersons. It took me a while. I didn't like the Jeffersons, neither did I like Archie Bunker. But I finally figured it out. I finally got it. Same guy produced him. He was making a point. And so when I finally figured it out, I said, okay, let me watch. And so I watched. I hated Archie Bunker as well. But then it got to me. You know what? Norman Lear's making a point.
Yeah, that's his character. He is a racist. That's the point.
He's making a point. Yeah. So watch it, learn from it what you're supposed to. Yeah. Wasn't a lot else. I can remember, wow, television played a very important part in our lives. I can remember, and I've got to find it, a movie called Green Pastures.
You know this one, Jim?
Green Pastures is an all-black cast. Lena Horne, Ossie Davis, Harry Belafonte. It goes on, and it has to be. I found it at a. I've got to find that. Green Pastures. It's amazing. All Black Cast is probably one of the first all-black movies made. It would come on TV, and it came on late, and that's the only time that we could stay up late. And it's just awesome. And at the end, it's like it had the impact that, wow, what's the name of the movie? Imitation of Life. You heard of that one? Mm-hmm. Imitation of Life. At the very, it's this girl who grows up. She's very light skinned, and she passes for white. And at the very end, she dies. She denies her mom because her mom's black and she's living in a different world. But at the very end, Mahalia Jackson, who was one of the early great gospel singers, she sings, and I never forgot that, how when she sang, how everybody in the house, you just cried because it broke our hearts. It was just that touching. But Green Pastures was one of the other early programs that I can remember that we were just amazed at, because look at this. This is an all-black cast. Because everything else we watched didn't have white people in it.
Or if it did, they were shuffling and
yeah.
scratching.
Jamboree, yeah.
When you were here at ET, what kind of reception did you get when you went into the classrooms for your coursework from the students and the professors? You were in the minority.
No one really gave me a difficult time. I never experienced anything out of the ordinary.
I'm reading in, I'm wondering if she might have been a member of this asset group. It's oral history taken in the early 70s of a student who said that she noticed, and that she experienced some herself, that she'd have a pretty wide area of empty seats around her in the back. They never noticed anything like that.
Well, for me, I don't remember any of that. Mm-hmm. For me, it didn't happen because I would remember it.
Yeah, you would.
I would remember it. I would have noticed it.
Yeah.
And I came as a freshman in '70, and I was pretty studious. I wasn't there to be anybody's friend. Mm-hmm. All my instructors were fair. Mm-hmm. I personally didn't have any of those kinds of experiences. I know every single one of you are expecting me to be African American, but I'm not. He said, but here's the deal. Here's who I am. Here's what I know. And once he gave his spiel and how he studied and how he's lived, he lived in predominantly black communities, he said, I am, without walking in your shoes, I'm about as black as I can get. But I can never tell you what it feels like being African American, because I'm not.
That was an important thing for him to say, right?
And he said, here's the issue. I'm here to teach, and I know what I'm talking about, and I'll never give you my opinion. I'll give you facts. I'll give you information that I've studied, and I'll give you resources so you can study it yourself. But if you think that I'm not that person, you need to withdraw from this class.
Did anybody? Did you notice?
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were there white students?
I just don't. I don't remember.
Yeah.
My money says yes.
Okay.